Hello and welcome to another edition of Son of Kaiju Review. I'm Protomet.
I'm Tank.
And we are getting into the colder months of the year. The last month of this year, specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And today, we will be talking about a snowy movie. Snow Monster versus Ice Shark.
Right.
Which is not a terribly accurate title, given that even the original Chinese release of this film just simply called it Snow Monster.
Yeah.
The DVD for this just awkwardly shoves the title screen up a bit and adds versus Ice Shark.
Are you sure they just didn't combine two movies together?
I'm positive. In fact, I initially thought that Snow Monster and Snow Monster vs. Ice Shark were two separate movies.
Until you looked at the picture and realized, oh,
this is. Well, I thought they were related movies because they had similar titles. It wasn't until I started watching a bit of Snow Monster that I realized, oh wait, this is the same movie as Snow Monster vs. Ice Shark. So.
Yeah, so
Researchers on a snowy mountain.
There's a guy just filming people and the girl doesn't want it.
Something about, I think his daughter's birthday's coming up or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he's totally going to die.
Oh, of course, because people just can't be happy.
Nope. So then they get attacked by a giant snow monster.
Well, mostly it's hands.
So then the one lady's dad and his brother are in like the command center, listening to all the chaos and wondering just what happened, but they lose contact with the lead lady scientist.
Yeah. So this is going to be another one of those movies where we can't remember anybody's names.
I'm a lot more familiar with like Japanese names and not Chinese names, so yeah, that's. I mean, I will give some credit. There's been a bit of a boom in Chinese monster movies as of late, so I'm certainly interested in checking out more of them.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is actually, I think, a pretty solid entry.
Yeah.
In the genre.
And we get to like someone's house or his pawn shop, museum thing.
I assume it's like an antique shop that this guy runs.
Yeah. And he reminds me of the Jason Statham character in Meg. Kind of just in this scene. Because he's just...
He kicks some dude's asses, and then when some old colleague come a call, and he's like, nope, don't want nothing to do with it, nothing to that.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah. Then
the big fat guy in this movie is
he's funny, but he's annoying.
Like he
gets better later.
He just verbally lays into the dude.
Yep. Then he the fakest spit I've ever seen in my life.
He does it twice.
He's like, and then like the scientist and the lady's uncle that's kind of been trapped or is frozen in the mountaintop.
The lady's lost. The uncle is calling on the dude to come help because he's basically the Indiana Jones of this movie.
Yeah, pretty much. Even gets the hat and everything.
You know, now that I think about it, this movie is very reminiscent of Kong Skull Island.
A little bit.
This is basically the equivalent of that. I mean, I'll make the comparison. I'll make the larger comparisons later, but
yeah. So, like, the fat guy is just berating him again, and he's like, "Don't lock the door on me." This blah 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 blah. And then all of a sudden apparently he's got a back door. He just goes, all right, where are we going?
So they, I guess, decide to follow the same map route that the first team of scientists followed, which doesn't make sense because it results in quite the adventure that I doubt their science van could have gotten through. So I'm under the assumption they got on the mountain some other way, because that's the only way that makes sense to me.
Well, I think they were already on the mountain at the time.
But no, Indy, Fat Guy, Uncle, and a group of soldiers go to this...
By the way, it's Uncle Ruckus, okay?
Anyway, Uncle go to this place with its, like, stone spikes.
Mm-hmm. They're looking at... Indy is looking at the map, and then all of a sudden he lays down and kind of turns the map upside down. Oh, it can't be that easy. And it is that easy to...
fall into a cave.
Yep.
Where they find a bunch of human remains. Most of them with giant gaping holes in the back of their skulls.
It's got a hole in its head. It's got a hole in its head. That one also got a hole in its head. Dude, you get a hole in your head.
You get a hole in your head. You get a hole in your head. Turns out the reason that all these skeletal remains have holes in their heads is because these fucking birds with, like, jagged teeth, jagged serrated beaks, inhabit the caves. They're like some sort of cross between birds and bats, because they are fucking deadly.
Miniature war bats.
It doesn't help that the cave is full of methane, as one guy who goes off to light a cigarette quickly finds out.
Well, after Fat Guy goes, hey, dummy, don't touch things. The first rule of, like, exploring.
First rule of exploring, just assume everything you encounter will kill you immediately. So don't touch anything.
He calls him an idiot, and the guy comes, and he's ready to just, like...
Oh my god. It's like, dude, this guy's been on more adventures than you. Look at him. He looks like he's been on more adventures than you.
Honest, my opinion, you're fat. You're fat. Nothing to get... We're not saying fat people don't go on ventures.
No. I mean, this guy is the scientist. He probably knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. So a fight almost happens, and then the guy just goes in the corner and then tries to spark a cigarette, and then oh,
gives everybody a good scare. Fortunately, it lures in the birds.
Yep.
But they manage to escape and somehow make it onto the top of the mountains. Bye-bye, birdies.
Mm-hmm. They never were seen again. Just like, the Peter Jackson Kong, where those insects and stuff, you never see them ever again.
Except in your nightmares.
I'm good with them.
But now that they are on the snowy mountain, they get attacked by ice sharks.
Yes. Ice sharks.
They kind of visually resemble the sharks from The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. I'm trying to remember what those are called in the game, but they kind of got, like, rocky heads.
So, they're being attacked by one shark. More sharks come later. But...
Then the snow monster shows up and just kind of kills it.
Just like, he had to have his lunch. He wanted seafood that day.
And that was Snow Monster versus Ice Shark.
The actual fight.
That was the entire fight. The Snow Monster just shows up and casually kills the thing a couple times.
It's like, he slams it. He's like, boom.
He slams it against the side of a mountain and is like, oh, still alive. Do
it again.
All right, there we go. Lunchtime.
Then all of a sudden, just see him just take a big bite out of it and just like pull like part of the skin and meat off. Just like.
But the whole ice shark incident results in the new exploration team getting split in two.
Yep.
With the uncle staying with most of the soldiers, and Indy and Fat Guy and one of the soldiers being somehow...
Apparently he is number 4. Unlike number 2 is where, it's the poo.
Anyway, they get picked up by a bunch of natives who try to slice into their leg.
It's like a weird method where it kind of stops like frostbite from happening.
that is what the lady scientist who shows up at this point explains after Indy tries to kill one of the natives.
I think it was the chief.
to be fair, despite the fact that the natives somehow speak perfect English for us audience, nobody in the room outside of them actually understand what they're saying. So that is an incredibly weird thing for them to just be like able to speak English in the dub.
Yeah.
But for the other characters to not understand them, what? That just threw me off a couple times. They don't speak very much, but when they do, it's in English.
Yeah.
And nobody understands them. So,
as he has a knife to the chief's neck,
because he doesn't know what's going on. He just woke up and a guy has slit another guy's leg.
Yep. And he gets jumped by a young woman who royally kicks his ass quickly. Or just not kicked his ass, but just...
she kicked his ass.
Yeah.
We're going to call her Princess Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke?
From the Ghibli movie.
Oh, okay.
She reminds me of Sign from that.
But then, the scientist lady says, stop.
I think the lady scientist reveals that the warrior woman's name is Kara.
Kara.
So I guess we're going with that one. Kara. Anyway, she's the lead warrior of the tribe. They all end up going up to the top of a mountain to perform a ceremony to communicate with the snow monster.
Yep. Then, during, they get, paint put on their foreheads for a little bit, and then the other team, the uncle and...
Anyway, while they're getting prepped for the ceremony, the other team, led by the uncle, he's like, well, Snow Monster exists. I was kind of hoping that was the case. It has, some special DNA I want to study. So I'm going to pay all you soldiers to basically kill it and bring it back to civilization. What ho! I'm not even Chinese. My name's Henry. What?
I don't think his name's Henry, but...
I'm pretty sure he said his name was Henry and he's not even Chinese. Looked pretty Chinese to me, but what? Who might argue?
I don't know if he was or not.
Anyway, he's clearly the bad guy of the movie.
Yep.
So anyway, they show up during the ceremony and just start shooting at the guy.
The natives, after they...
Yeah, she shoots at they shoot at the natives too.
Well, first they shoot at the monster, and then the natives try to stop them, but then, they have, machine guns, and the natives just have, knives, and...
So a lot of natives get
They
off.
They took a knife to a gunfight in this situation. Then the uncle shoots, a weird electrical thing.
Clamp thing.
To the...
He tries to use it to electrocute the giant snow monster.
Mm-hmm.
Snow monster manages to get away.
Mm-hmm.
But now the soldiers have hostages.
They end up shooting the leader of the tribe, and he dies. Then
they get the priestess, they get the warrior lady, they got Indy, fat guy, and lady scientist.
Then they are walking
walking through the snow
with a one-horse open sleigh.
I had a different song in my head. I'm not even terribly familiar with that song. That was in my head. But yeah, the bad guy uncle, they wind up encountering the snow monster again.
First, before that, well, the snow monster appears a smidge later, but sharks show up again.
More sharks. Okay.
And literally the sharks. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. The sharks are useless in this entire movie. They didn't kill any of the people.
I think they killed one guy the entire movie. I'm pretty sure one guy died. But that was it.
Oh yeah, it gets sunk under, like, he gets sunk into the snow, and then I guess the lead, hitman guy just tries to pull him out, but they just can't. He's gone.
Yeah.
And then they shoot the weird magnetic thingy again to the sharks, and I guess that kills the sharks.
I guess I zoned out during that point. Because the next thing I remember is the snow monster showing up again. And this time definitely avoiding the electrical clamp.
Mm-hmm.
However, then a couple jets show up and just kind of use sonic cannons to hold him in place or something.
Yeah, then he shoots them again with a magnetic clamp. And then the good guys come and start beating people up and shooting people and fighting and...
There's a whole big fight scene.
The lead gunman guy who's in charge of the other gun people. He ends up getting into a fight with the warrior.
Kara and the fat guy.
Yep.
It's a pretty good fight. Fat guy does a good job of holding his own while Kara chokes the guy out with a Garrett.
Yep, he well, pretty much, he put all his body weight on top of him, so he couldn't move.
Kick out, yeah.
Then she just strangled him to death, and then the rest of the people... Actually, Indy ends up shooting a rocket launcher and destroying one of the jets, and then...
Snow Monster manages to get free. I'm pretty sure he kills the uncle.
Oh, yeah. Just by... Well, he swats away every other threat there was to it. Then he just steps on the uncle, pretty much.
And I guess that's the end of the fight. So he goes away. Indy and the other two leave the small tribe behind.
They're all saying
goodbye. But no, it's a bunch of ghosts.
Yep, and then you see how dwindled down the tribe has gone.
Yeah, they got very few people left. It's like, fuck.
Yep.
And that's basically where the movie ends, with the main characters heading back to civilization. And coming back to the lead lab or something.
Yeah, and the scientist ladies
reunites with her dad.
And then apparently there was a sequel bait thingy where apparently they...
Some sort of giant snake. I don't know if this is supposed to lead into another movie that has already come out or what. I couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell you.
I mean, maybe this is part of some bigger Chinese cinematic universe thing, like with the Monsterverse, but I have no idea. It just kind of shows up right at the end as the credits are rolling.
Yep, and that's the movie, you guys.
Yeah, this is has huge similarities to Kong Skull Island. You got the isolated place. You got a group of soldiers going in with scientists who have been trying to find this place. You get a giant humanoid creature covered in fur.
Yeah.
You get a group of natives on the island.
And I just guess they'd be military-ish. Or...
I said soldiers, so yeah.
Yeah.
And then the lead villain wants to kill the big guy, despite the fact that there's really no reason to. I mean, for starters, how would you even transport it off the mountain?
Magic.
But yeah, no, I think it's a pretty solid movie. The effects work is pretty good. The costume design for the monster is
good,
well done. Like the overall design with his horns and stuff.
I told Protomet while we were watching it, it kind of looks like Krampus.
Kind of. It does kind of look like if Krampus were the size of King Kong.
Yeah.
Like more modern King Kong, not classic King Kong. Classic King Kong is pretty short by comparison.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's got a Krampusy look.
Yep. Krampus / kitty cat.
The ice sharks have a pretty decent design. The fucking terror birds or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to encounter those.
No.
That's for sure.
They go, rah, 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 rah. There's a hole in its head. You get a hole in your head.
The bad guys are bad guys, but it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Just literally like the lead, not the uncle, but the guy who's like, I will pay, or pretty much uncle says he's going to pay them off to help them kill the ape.
And he even justifies the danger. It's like, well, if you lose anybody, that just means more money for you. Your cut increases for every person who dies. So
like, he's an ass.
He's an ass, but he drives a hard bargain.
Yep. Yeah. So, is there any character you really liked?
I like the fat guy. He was actually a pretty fun character.
He was fun, but at first he just got he was just annoying because he complained a lot. But
he does some cool stuff.
Yeah, yeah. While they're in a room, him and Indy get into a fist fight. Indy doesn't throw any punches; he just takes a beating. He's like, pop. And the fat guy tries to hook up with the warrior princess lady.
Yeah. Doesn't quite work as well as he had hoped, but that's really only because he wanted to keep his fingers.
Yeah.
Because apparently the ritual is that in order for him to date her, he would have had to beat her in combat. And if he failed, he would have had to lose a finger. And apparently there was a guy with very few fingers who has tried...
He literally had the middle finger. The rest were gone. He's the one who's been trying. Yeah.
I would say a solid attempt at a kaiju film.
Yeah. We've watched some of these other ones, like...
Curse of the Kraken.
Yeah. That one was okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is definitely a market that I want to check out more of.
Mm-hmm. And it's definitely not an asylum film.
Oh, God, no. Quality of the special effects is far above that.
Yeah. The asylum films are just... Well, I suppose if you're not including Sharknado 100.
Asylum movies tend to be pretty bad, and thankfully this is far from an asylum movie.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a pretty solid, wintry kaiju movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth checking out.
Yeah. Yeah, so I suppose I don't really have much more to say about it.
I will say that there are better movies, but if you're going in for something and not expecting greatness, then this isn't going to necessarily disappoint you if you're not expecting much.
No.
In fact, you might be surprised at how decent it is comparatively.
Yeah. It's good in its own right. We've watched better, and we've watched older movies that I consider better than this movie.
We've watched older movies that are far worse.
Yeah, that too. Like, how about Monster from Green Hell?
That is a similar plot to this now that you mention it. I mean, again, it's not 1-to-1, but it's like, damn, that's kind of similar. And that movie was terrible.
Oh, that sucked. And then we have, what would be another one?
Oh, King Dinosaur?
Yeah.
Fuck that movie. So yeah, you definitely have worse options when it comes to kaiju movies, and this one is a pretty solid attempt.
So, I've been watching that guy on YouTube,
Dino Diego?
Yeah, and I suppose we should probably check out some of the movies he's been.
Oh yeah, he's done some pretty good ones.
Yeah,
we're getting way off topic at this point, though.
Apology.
So I guess if we're done talking about Snow Monster versus Ice Shark,
let's I suppose.
So I guess we'll see you guys.
Bye.